got a question for you. Would you pick up and move 7,500 miles abroad, newly married and 6 months pregnant? If you answered girl no, I get you, I feel you, but I guess call me crazy because that's exactly what my husband and I just did. So we're gonna talk about all the things that led up into this move and what I think about living abroad so far. So let's chat. If this is your first time seeing my face, hey, what's up, welcome, glad to have you here. My name is Taylor J. I am a 29-year-old content creator that just recently moved from the US all the way to the country of Kuwait, and I've officially been out here for about a month and a half now. Today is April 11th and I came out here February 28th, and so just wanted to come in and share my initial thoughts on what it's like living in the Middle East and being pregnant doing that. And also I transitioned to being a stay-at-home wife. Even though this air is gonna be short-lived, I'll be transitioning to being a stay-at-home mom pretty soon here. My due date is in July. So yeah, all the things, so many things, we're gonna talk about it. So what initially brought me out here, my husband and I always talked about living abroad. Like, it's something that really connected us when we were first dating. Prior to getting married, we have traveled a lot. I worked on cruise ships, he was in the Air Force, so he's traveled a bit. He's lived in Kuwait prior to us moving out here, so we're no strangers to travel and living abroad and just being away from family. So when the opportunity came up for us to relocate out here, you know, it took a lot of consideration, but ultimately we went to what our long-term vision was. We always knew we would live out of the country. We just didn't expect it to be, one, so soon after getting married, and we didn't expect to be doing it while being pregnant and about to have our first child. So that was a little curveball that God sent us, but nevertheless we went ahead and jumped at the opportunity, especially because this was the third opportunity to move abroad. He had turned down the first two, so it was like, okay, let's go ahead and say yes to this opportunity. And of course, a few days after saying yes, I was like, we're pregnant. So I was a little apprehensive at first, but I knew that this was the right opportunity for us. So we went ahead and took the leap, and now we're here. So let's talk travel experience. I drove from Huntsville, Alabama. That is kind of where I'm from now. I'm really from Maryland, but somehow made my way to Alabama, and I guess that's home now. Side note, how long do you have to live in a place before you can say that you're from there? Drop that in the comments. I moved from Huntsville by way of Maryland, and we drove all the way to Atlanta so that I can catch my flight. I flew with Qatar Airways, and my initial flight was about 13 hours, and then I connected to my layover destination in Doha, so that's about 2.5 hours before my last leg of the flight to Kuwait. So that flight was about an hour and a half. Overall, I had a good travel experience with Qatar Airways. The food was okay. I did have an aisle seat, which, if you know me, I do not like sitting on the aisle. I find that so uncomfortable because my neck be like this, my mouth be wide open, and it's embarrassing. So I was really nervous about sitting on the flight, on the aisle, especially on a flight that long, but I didn't really have an issue. I did feel like at times me and the girl next to me was fighting over the armrest, and I was like, you're gonna have to get this up because you're flying with your man and you can lean on him. So we was kind of fighting over the armrest, but other than that, it was a good flight. Only thing is, I wish I would have put my compression socks on a lot sooner because I did swell, and it took me a few days to recover from that. Put your compression socks on a lot earlier. And I came out here on February 28th, so it was going into Ramadan, so I was kind of like, I don't know how that's gonna be, but it turned out to be fine. I just didn't do a whole lot of exploring in the beginning because you are not able to eat or drink in public during Ramadan, and I was like, your girl gotta eat and drink. Like, if I'm gonna be out exploring, I'm gonna want a little snack. And yeah, so I didn't really do too much exploring. I did go to the mall at times, and let me tell y'all, the malls here are tea. These malls are so big, like extravagant. I've been to, I think, 4 malls now. When we first got here, we stayed at the Hilton at Avenues. Avenues is bae. Love Avenues down. Went to Avenues, went to Al Coop Mall, went to Mall 360, and there's a 4th mall that I went to, but I can't think of the name right now. I'll put it here when I can think of it. But the malls are nice. They're so big too though that they have something called like the white taxi, where they can drive you around because you are so tired from carrying all your bags and walking and just having a good time. But yeah, so love the malls. And on top of that, the restaurants inside, if you love a good aesthetic, this is the place for you. Like, ooh, I just want to try all the restaurants because they look so freaking cute. That people used to ask me like, so what are you gonna wear out there? And I was like, I really don't know. One, I can't fit any of my clothing, so I have some things like this dress out here. It's just a short sleeve. You don't have to have, you know, you don't have to be covered from head to toe, but modest. So I'll make sure my shoulders are covered, and my dress does go down to like my calves, and it's a loose fitting dress. It's not form fitting, so just being mindful of, you know, nothing too tight, nothing too short, nothing showing off your chest area. I don't find that it's too hot out here, but it is springtime, so to me it feels really good. It's been like high 80s to 90. They do say that coming in the winter is the best time, and winter is like December to February. Spring is February to May 20th, and then summer. But yeah, my family's coming in July so they can be here for the birth, and I just hope that they pack appropriately. So yeah, I'm enjoying the weather so far. It is dusty. It doesn't rain often. I did experience like 2 days of rain back to back, and it was terrible. I am someone who gets affected by like seasonal depression, so being in the house for 2 rainy, gloomy days, it wasn't good for me. Some other things to note is that you're going to need a power adapter. So the plug type is a G type plug. You do need that out here, and just get one that has multiple plug sockets for your various devices. And you also will need to invest into like a portable Wi-Fi plug that we use for our phone streaming, and just when we're out and about we just take it with us, and that gives us Wi-Fi access. We are staying in a 1-bedroom apartment. It's more of a villa, so that's one of their typical home style. Here the owner rents it out, and he rents out each unit, so it costs us about 450 KDs per month, a little under $1,500. I think that's pretty comparable to the US, especially like where I used to live in Atlanta. Also, it's fully furnished, so we could have found something cheaper, but for a fully furnished apartment, utilities are included, so flat rate. I think that's a pretty good deal, and we're in a good area, so I like it so far. Some things that are different about it, the windows are different. I feel like I'm used to windows that lift up. These windows open in, and they open all the way up, so I love it because it's a lot of fresh air that comes in. However, I have been dealing with like flies and nets, so trying to kind of figure out a way to prevent that from happening. But I love being able to open up the windows, let a lot of fresh air and light in, but that also brings in a lot of dust. So I find that I'm sweeping literally every day because it can get very dusty in here very quickly. We don't have carpet, and so we have like tile floor, so just being mindful of that. Sweeping, mopping, all the things. They have bidets everywhere, and I'm a big fan. I love a bidet now. Realized quickly I need to carry tissue all the time because some bathrooms don't have toilet paper, either because they were out or they just don't got toilet paper, and that was very uncomfortable because you had to use the bidet. But I'm like, okay, well, I need to dry off. They didn't have no tissue. Stressed. Just carry some tissue with you at all time because you just never know. You just never know. This is different. Their stove tops are different, just like a flat metal surface. I have to show you, but that's pretty much it that is coming to mind right now that's super different about the housing structure. They do have apartments as well, but this is typically how you'll see their houses. Like, the people here have been super friendly and hospitable. I've already met my neighbors. I've had dinner with them twice. Super nice and kind people, and it is inspiring me to learn Arabic even more because that was the only thing I felt like we kind of struggled just to connect because they weren't fluent in English. I don't know Arabic. The kids were kind of translating for us. Some of the family members knew it. They do still separate things by sexes. So my husband went and had dinner with the men. I was with the women and children, and we were chatting and talking, having a good time. Even though we don't speak each other's languages, it was still like just nice to be around other people and to fellowship and get to know them. That was going to be one of the concerns that a lot of people wondered. What was it going to be like as a one as an American, but as a Black American. I haven't had any experience so far where I felt like people treated me poorly or tried to treat me poorly, or said anything kind of crazy even if I didn't understand them. Like, I don't feel like nobody tried me. But when I did come out here, my hair was straight. I didn't experience anything negative. But then I went out in a wash and go. I felt like that gained a lot more attention for obvious reasons. You don't really see people, one, that look like me, and then two, you don't see people with curly hair, especially not big curly afro hair. So I do feel like that attracted a lot more attention, but I still got a lot of compliments. Like, people were like, wow, like, I love your hair, like, I like your look. But you don't see people that look like me. You stand out. Like, I just knew, like, dang, like, I look different. But I didn't feel any type of way about it. And then I have my hair braided now, so yeah, just live your life. Other than that, it's been a really good experience so far. I feel like overall I'm just adjusting to the lifestyle. Being pregnant, being a first-time mom, like, just preparing for birth. Last thing, because this is a big thing, my hospital experience. That was gonna really honestly make or break if I stayed out here, because I did have a, well, I do still have a return flight. I need to call them. I am gonna stay in Kuwait and I am going to have my child here, but if I liked the hospital experience or not was going to be the deal breaker on if I stayed here. And I had such a positive experience. So at first, getting insurance was a big issue because I found out I was pregnant after enrollment period, so I wasn't able to get international coverage through my insurance because I'm already pregnant. Fortunate for us, I was able to get maternity coverage through my husband's insurance through his employment. Using Cigna, I was able to go get an appointment out here. So their stuff is at the hospital, so it's not like a separate office for like OBGYN care. You just go to the hospital for everything. You can go to the hospital for your plastic surgery if you wanted to. So like everything is done at their hospital. So I called the hospital, made an appointment. Y'all, they were able to get me in same day. That is unheard of in the US. Yeah, I made a 4:30 appointment same day, and we went a little early, so probably got there about 3:45. Was able to start paperwork immediately, and then once that was done, like, this nurse came out of nowhere and she came and got me, and she was like, just follow me. And she took me and we just went into the doctor's office. My doctor is from Syria. I'm not gonna give her name and everything like this until the process is over, but took me straight to the doctor's office, and I was like, what? This is it? And she sat me down in the chair. The doctor's sitting at her desk across from me. She's taking my blood pressure, and me and the doctor are starting to chat. I thought that was so interesting that talked directly to the doctor. The nurse is doing my blood pressure. She took my weight and everything, and then I was getting an ultrasound. And not only that, the ultrasound was in the doctor's office, y'all. It was actually so cute. Like, her desk is here, and she has a little ultrasound station and the curtain and everything. So she immediately did my ultrasound. She's talking to me about, you know, my appointments. I had to go get blood work. That was done in a separate area, so went to a different department in the hospital and got my blood work done, and then that was it. I probably was there an hour, y'all. Same day appointment, there an hour, in and out. I was like, this was the most efficient hospital experience or just doctor's experience I've ever had. And the hospital was very modern and beautiful. So yeah, I had a great experience there. So I'm feeling super confident about having my labor and delivery here in the country of Kuwait, which was like a #1 thing for me to figure out. And I'll keep you in the loop on what that whole process is like. I have a doctor's appointment on the 14th. We're now in the 3rd trimester, so we should start talking all things labor and delivery. So much I have to ask. Drop in the comments, like, you know, your must-have baby thing. But yeah, subscribe to the channel and keep up, because things are happening fast here and you don't want to miss out on any of the things that we'll be chatting about, and the community is growing, so go ahead and get in now. So drop a little airplane in the chat for me to let me know that you've made it this far, and I look forward to seeing you next time. So